Hey friends, welcome to the Friday check-in on Saturday. I'm so sorry. Yesterday wasn't working out. So I'm like, hey, I'm just a day late. That's okay. This is Happily Even After Betrayal with Life Coach Jen. And I have some things I want to talk about. So this week on my podcast, I had a special guest. His name is Ben and his Instagram name is Ben Keeps Running. And I just started following him. I have a lot of male clients, and especially some that are getting divorced. There's a lot of women talking about a divorce, but there's not a lot of men. At least maybe I'm just not following them. I just thought it might be helpful to bring a man's perspective onto my podcast about getting divorced. I really like his vibe. I think it's important to focus on our healing. And sometimes people get really stuck in the pain. And I get that. But for me, I want us to focus on how we can heal and live our best life, regardless if we've been betrayed, because I promise it's possible. We just don't have the tools yet. And so Ben shares a little bit of his story. He was in a marriage, and I'm just going to say it was emotionally abusive. And I think that's another thing we don't talk about are sometimes there are women in the world that are emotionally abusing their husbands. And I think men get a bad rap for this because there's a lot of men that abuse their wives emotionally or psychologically. That happens a lot in betrayal. And so he went a whole year and he didn't get to see his kids for an entire year. He was fighting for joint custody with them. And I'm just really impressed that he didn't give up. And he used running as a healing tool. So for me, that does not feel very healing to start running. But for some of you, that might be, I like lifting weights. I just like doing it stationary. But some of you might find that walking. I find walking very healing. So movement of some sort is a great tool to adapt or start using if you aren't in your healing. And so I just really liked talking to him. So go check out our podcast. It's called How Training for a Marathon Saved His Life with guest Ben. And just for privacy reasons, we're just keeping it with his first name. Anyways, now to the world, what's going on in the world as far as affairs go. If you haven't heard, I'm going to move on to sports. Last week I talked about politics. I'm sure there's some politicians having affairs, sadly. In the world of sports, the New England Patriots head coach, Mike Vrabel, I'm not saying that name right, and a former ESPN reporter, Diana, were having an affair. I think both were married, sadly. They originally said it was like a one-time thing. I think they got caught. However, photos have come out and it's really been going on for several years. And I just always think photos don't lie, even though we might find a picture and our spouse is still going to try to gaslight us and lie. Oh, that was taken out of context, or you don't know what you're looking at. That's not me, even though it clearly was. Ego plays a lot into betrayal and really our own lives, right? We have this ego protector response, right? I just think ego plays a lot into betrayal. And another in the entertainment world, Selena Gomez, we just watched her wedding. I did, or at least looked up pictures because Taylor Swift was there. I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, and Benny Blanco. But I'm like, okay, first of all, in my opinion, Selena is a way better catch than Benny Blanco. Like, I just looking at him, I don't know what she sees in him. But she did, and she married him, but he cheated on her. So I always tell people, Selena Gomez was beautiful. So we want to compare ourselves with these other women or other men. It's not about that. It seems odd that it's not, but it's not. And so no matter how beautiful you are, how wealthy you are, how amazing singer you are, your spouse can still cheat on you. And that's a deficiency in them, not in you. That's my news. As well as, my favorite, Kristen Cabot, the woman who got caught on the kiss cam, is mad at Chris Martin. There's been a few clips like, did Chris Martin apologize to you, the head singer from Coldplay? And he didn't, right? Which it's like, why did he need to apologize to you for calling you out? He didn't even know if what he was saying was true. He spoke what he saw, and it happened to be true. She was having an affair, and of course her whole world is ended, but she knew what she was doing. She was having an affair with a married man, and she was married. She was separated. Everyone has a different opinion on that. You know where I stand. I think you need to be divorced before you start dating. You're still married, but that's my opinion. Some of you don't think that way. That's okay, but he was married, and I get he lied to her about their marriage, but that's what happens when people are cheating. They lie. And so I think it's ironic that she's upset. Coldplay didn't apologize to her. One thing I want to share with you, just a little tip, is some of you need to shorten your lens because you are jumping to 10 years from now or after you die, or we're jumping way too far ahead as we're trying to heal from betrayal. Sometimes we can just focus on a day at a time, a week at a time, because I promise how you feel today is not how you're going to feel in a year or a week or a month. And especially if you are getting help and you're working on your healing, you are going to start healing, and we control what our spouse does. And so we just have to focus on ourselves. But the more you can shorten your lens, especially during the initial discovery, it's just going to help you in your healing. And so are you going too far out? Are you going, oh my gosh, I'm going to die alone, right? Some of you are going there. That is not helpful. That is just going to keep your brain spinning, and you're going to create the results that you don't want. And so we have to shorten the lens because we don't know. Something could happen tomorrow to change everything. And so just keep your lens short, especially after betrayal as you're healing. It's just going to help you so much more. And it's going to help your brain not go from, am I going to die alone? Or what's going to happen in 5 years? What about when I retire? That's not helpful information. This week I had the opportunity to go to San Diego to spend some time with my business coach, Jody Moore. And I love working with other coaches and getting insights and ideas and how to become a better coach, how to become a better entrepreneur, all those things that I am learning in my 50s. And so as someone that is learning how to be a businesswoman, a solopreneur, I just wanted you to know, whatever age, whatever stage you are, you can learn new things. If I can learn new things, you can learn new things. So just remember that, right? Don't prevent yourself from learning something because you're not too old and you're not too young. Just remember that. The other thought, I had Ben on as my guest, and I just found him on Instagram. But if there are any of you that want to share your story on my podcast, I love it when people share their stories. I think it connects us. We want to know we aren't alone, and sharing your story can be helpful. I get privacy issues, so I never ask my clients to share their story. That's why when I ask them for testimonials, it's just their first name. But if you are open like me and want to share your story, I'd love it. We can just say your first name. We can leave anything and everything out that you don't want to share, but I think it can be helpful for other people in their healing. So if that's something of interest, just let me know. Anyways, happy Saturday. We'll just pretend in our mind it's Friday. Have a beautiful weekend, and I will talk to you next week.